yeah, so my essay deals obviously with Baphomet, which obviously most of you in the OTO or just familiar with Thelema in general will know. Baphomet was obviously an important motive for Aleister Crowley. Obviously, when he became Grand Master General of the OTO, he took that as his name, and obviously with the direct links through to the Knights Templar. But I think, or as I discovered on this very strange journey into the abyss of Baphomet, it comes up often in his writings, either his published works or in his diaries. And what I discovered is that Baphomet really transcends just an OTO-specific kind of symbology, and I think is a unifying symbol between both orders, but also I think as an individual, I think it's a symbol of wholeness. And I think if you read the essay, it's quite complex. It covers a lot of ground, and it's really still a work in progress. So even though it's an incredibly long kind of piece at the moment, I feel like I've only just scratched the surface of Baphomet. And even while I was doing some vague preparation for this talk, I was going over some of the ideas again, and I was just uncovering new things that I could have included in the essay, and probably will include in future iterations of this work. But yeah, so essentially it moves through from, I guess, sort of basic ideas about the Templar trials historically, but the idea that Baphomet is, I guess, a corruption of Muhammad, and then this idea that the Templar tradition incorporated elements of Islam into their internal practice, which was then, I guess, some of the foundation for the accusations that led to their trials in 1307, obviously spearheaded by King Philip. But then sort of through that more historical kind of lens, and through some aspects exploring, especially the idea of the Kaaba and the black stone, which is a symbol that sort of fascinated me for many years, even beyond before I started writing this essay. Just even in depth psychology, this idea of the philosopher's stone and the black stone in particular. And its connection, I think, through to sort of the ideas behind the Holy Guardian Angel in Crowley's writing and other people's writings. And I guess then the essay goes on quite a large journey, and I think it then kind of, to a certain extent, sort of grounds itself in Eliphas Levi and his, obviously, the depiction of Baphomet in his transcendental magic and his writings about that, both in that text, and then through also the Book of Splendors, where he deals with Baphomet again. And then I kind of do this deep, sort of this unexpected dive into, I guess, some temple theology, through which I initially started just through the symbolism of the scapegoat, which seems very obvious, and it seemed at the time just a simple little thing. I'd just do a bit of this idea of obviously the goat-headed deity and this idea of the scapegoat, but that sort of then sent me on this amazing kind of journey into, I guess, First Temple theology and some of the ideas around the Day of Atonement, and how that potentially relates to Baphomet, and also the concept of wisdom and the inner sanctuary of the First Temple. And then, it covers a lot of ground. I go into various Kabbalistic kind of speculation, and then through, I guess, some more Eastern philosophy and ideas, which sort of comes through to Crowley sort of makes some very kind of obscure references to Kuan Seon, which is Kuan Yin, obviously the goddess of mercy or compassion, but then kind of makes some very direct links, or you can make direct links in his commentary to the Book of the Silence, where he kind of mentions this Chinese figure who has numerous names, but one of those names is Baphomet. And as soon as I saw that, I went, here's something interesting. So I went on a bit of a deep dive into that. Again, I think there's a lot more to explore in these topics. Even for me, it's an incredibly wide-ranging, and I get confused sometimes. I go back, I reread it sometimes, and it's almost like I'm reading it myself for the first time, and some of the ideas are fresh. And then when I read them again, new ideas come. So it's, for me, I guess personally, writing is a magical process for me. It's a transformative process. So it's certainly not academic. I'm writing more to myself than anything else. So really, I'm writing as a magical and transformative process, and that sort of comes out a little bit in the writing. And it's also at the moment very true to Baphomet. It's kind of an initial kind of explosion of ideas, which hopefully over time can be kind of structured a bit more and given a bit more gloss. But I hope people kind of come on the trip with me at least.